So you have a budget of below 1.2 million pesos and you're looking for a 7-seater compact MPV. One of your choices right here is the Nissan Livina Mid-Trim VE Automatic at 1.149 million pesos. Is this car worth it? Today, let's find out. So we took a look at the Nissan Livina VL before, and that was the top of the line trim of this vehicle right here. But this mid-trim VE spec, let's see what it has to offer on the exterior. You have a very similar hood with some of these lines right here. You also have a piano black grille. This is Nissan's V-Motion grille. But the difference right here is down below your bumper area, it's body colored and you get black right there instead of having silver. You get the same type of these ginormous headlights right here, but these are halogens, and you also get DRLs. On the side of the car, the main difference right here, you lose out on a lot of your chrome. So for example, while you still do get repeaters and auto folding mirrors, the cover on it is now body colored instead of chrome. The window trim is now black, and even your door handles, you lose out on chrome as well. You still do get 16-inch rims though, and they are slightly two-tone. Move towards the back of the Livina, and what you'll see here are these tail lamps with a sideways or horizontal V design. You get a high mount stoplight as well, a spoiler, and no shark's fin antenna. What really differentiates this car from its mechanical twin, the Mitsubishi Expander, is that you don't get one single diffuser down below. Instead, they are separated. Open up your tailgate, and right here, if you have your third row seats up, you're gonna have pretty limited space. Nonetheless, you do have a false floor right here with dividers or organizers built into it. And if you fold down all those seats, including these second row seats, you're looking at 1,630 liters of space. Powering the Nissan Livina VE is a 1.5-liter inline-4 gasoline engine making 105 horsepower and 141 Nm of torque, mated to a 4-speed automatic transmission. In the city, you can do around 8.5 kilometers per liter, and on the highway, you're looking at around 14 kilometers per liter. Now here inside the Livina VE, we check the door first. And yeah, it sounds just about all right. It's really not great. And in here, compared to the VL, there's some things I like and some things I really don't. So for example, you don't get your push button start. Bummer. But you do get a lot of brown in the interior, and I really love brown. So over here by your dashboard, you also get brown seats. They aren't leather though, and they are manually adjustable. But what they did retain right here is that this faux wooden trim, and it is this dark aged wood kind of thing, and it looks pretty good. The rest of the interior, while there are no soft touch and they're all covered in hard plastic, they did give you some sort of a faux stitch pattern on the top of the dashboard. The steering wheel also loses out on its leather covering. You only get urethane, but it is still multifunction. You get your audio settings right here on the left side, and it is also tilt and telescoping. Absolutely love that for this class. Your instrument cluster is pretty much the same, but the center screen has been replaced to a monotone LCD design. It still has your trip computer though, so honestly that is more than enough. On the center, you have the 7-inch screen, and you only get Bluetooth, so you don't get Apple CarPlay nor Android Auto. It does come with a reverse camera, but it is really unclear. I mean, the definition in this one is pretty low. Nonetheless, it is still usable, and it even has guiding lines, although they don't swivel. What I really don't like about the Livina though, just like its mechanical twin, the Expander, is that it has these really flimsy feeling air vents. Nonetheless, this is still a Nissan, so the AC system is still incredibly cold. Manual aircon, no climate control with this one, but what this car has a lot of is a lot of cubbies. So you get one here under the dashboard, you get one of these covers right here, even a place to put your phone, 2 cup holders by the middle, and also bottle holders on the side. And if you look down below the passenger seat, there is even a hidden tray right here for you to store probably more important things to keep them out of sight from the outside. Now another thing I don't really like about the Livina is this center console right here, because it is exactly the same as the previous Expander. What this means is that you don't get an electronic parking brake, and you still have this ginormous parking brake on the right side, as if this car was originally made for right-hand drive markets. The gear selector though, well, it is easy to use, it's very old school, and it even comes with an overdrive button. As for features, what you do get right here is pretty limited. So you do get 2 airbags, you get traction control, vehicle stability control, and you also get hill start assist. And now here at the back, first you check the door. And they sound a little bit better than the front because they are so long. In fact, these doors are so long and they open so wide that fitting child seats in here would not be a problem. And you even have ISOFIX tethers right here. For space, there's a lot of it. So you get great legroom, you get great feet room, and even your headroom is pretty good. So even if you're 6 feet tall, you're not gonna have an issue back here. What toys do you get? You get these pockets right here for your phone and wallet and probably a laptop down below. Huge jug holder and this center armrest which drops down, and while you don't get cup holders, they have this really nice texture to it. Also, the center console at the front, the rear part of it, has this cover right here which you can remove, lift up just like that, and you can store way more items right here, and it is pretty deep as well. Now, if you want to see 3 people back here, it's very much doable because the center tunnel is pretty low and there's a lot of feet room, and while the car isn't exactly the widest, these door panels are rather thin, so you can easily see 3 people abreast right here. Also, if you notice right here that the split of the seats, the 60-40 split, it's reversed. So this really is a right-hand drive based car. The single seat is over there at the driver's side. Anyway, getting into the third row, it's a lot easier now because you have the 60 portion of the 60-40 split right here. And as you climb on in, you're gonna have pretty decent space right here if you do slide or at least unrecline these second row seats. But with them all the way back and with them slightly reclined at 5'6" short, not even tall, I still can sort of comfortably fit back here for shorter journeys. Once you do move these forward though, then I assume you're gonna be pretty much fine even if it is a longer journey. What I do like back here though is, aside from continuing the brown upholstery, these side plastic panels for your cup holders are also painted brown, and you even do get a 12-volt outlet right here and these rather massive quarter windows. Now we drive the Nissan Livina VE, and driving this is pretty much just like driving any other MPV out there. So what should you expect? It's incredibly comfortable, it's so easy to drive, but it really does end there. This car, well, it's not sporty and it's not trying to be sporty, and while there is enough power in this car with 100+ horsepower, it really isn't fast, but no MPV is supposed to be. The problem with this car honestly is not its engine, it really is the transmission in this one, since it still uses that 4-speed transmission, and a lot of its competitors have already moved to CVT transmissions or maybe even a 5 or 6-speed automatic, but this one still retains a 4-speed, and that is the major bottleneck in this one. You see, the issue with these 4-speed transmissions is, especially when you're going at really high speeds, it has a tendency to stay on the higher end of the rev band, and it is pretty much desiring to have an additional gear or 2 or maybe a CVT just to be able to put you in a lower RPM and probably even save a lot of fuel. I went through that giant pothole right there, and yes, you do feel it, but it really doesn't hurt because the suspension in the Livina is really tuned for comfort. So it pretty much just soaks up all the bumps and all that at the expense, well, of handling. Noise-wise too, in the city, this car is perfect. You don't really hear that much of tire noise and wind noise that enters the cabin. However, when you do drive this at faster speeds, for example on the highway, well, yes, there's a little bit more tire noise and a little bit more road noise compared to most cars out there because, well, this has the aerodynamics pretty much of a box, and those giant wing mirrors on the side, well, they contribute a little bit to wind noise, but really not too much. The steering is also perfectly light, there's zero feedback to it, but when you are maneuvering the Livina inside the city, well, it's extremely easy. The turning radius is also excellent, even for a car of this size. But one thing that a lot of people really enjoy with these crossovers, you call it SUV or MPV if you want, is the driving position. Because while you can't raise up your seats with the Livina, you still get to see about enough of the front. You still can easily see over sedans in front of you, and that really does contribute to a slightly more commanding driving position while you are inside the Livina. So the Nissan Livina VE is great value at its price of 1.149 million pesos. It is comfortable and can even easily seat 7 people aboard. Also, when you do drive this, well, it is moderately good in terms of fuel economy. So the question now is it great value? Now, if you compare this car to its top-of-the-line counterpart, the Livina VL, I think this car is excellent value. And in itself, this car truly is. However, with the release of some of its competitors lately, well, there are better options.